Speed Williams, 8-time consecutive world champion, 15-time NFR qualifier, and now your little girl's here competing for some big money.
Some big money.
Right, so I guess we'll start here. The first 4 rounds, you come out lights out and win one of the go rounds of the first night. And I'm new, I'll tell you all this, I'm new to this whole breakaway thing, so like being here, this is my first time seeing any of this, but there's certain people and certain competitors that will catch your attention as like winners or champions. When Jackie Crawford came in here the other day, she has the presence that fills this room, right? When Hali Williams roped that first night and I see like waving to the crowd and it's like this confidence is just exuding, and I don't know, it was impressive. And so when I found out I was doing this interview, I did some homework. And I found a video, this would have been 14 years ago, and she's so small, like she's
Black
like
pony?
glued into this saddle and she's swinging this rope, black sunglasses. She had these glasses on. And
Do we have that video?
quote, well, I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere, but the quote you say, it's one of your training videos, and you said you always wanted your little girl to want to rope and that you got your wish. Because that night you had to turn the lights on because she kept saying one more, one more.
That's crazy.
And so
He did a little homework.
He did. That was a hard video to find. I wanted to take it down. Yeah.
Blacky Day.
well, I'm envious of that though, because like anybody that finds their passion early in life like that, you couldn't have been like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah, but at that time I was just team roping. I wasn't breakaway. I didn't breakaway till my 6th grade year. So I was
She wouldn't
I was
breakaway.
an anti-breakaway. Like didn't want to break away. I wanted to team rope. I had like aspirations, and then they raised me to a 6-header at 14 or 13.
13, 14.
13. And it really hindered my roping and the partners that I could get in the certain classes that there's team roping. And so it kind of made me evaluate where I wanted to go, and I was going to these jackpots breakaway open, and I didn't have to deal with anybody. It was just me and my horse, and it was up to me to win. And it wasn't, I didn't have to have a partner. And so I kind of like started sliding to that, and
Started having success in the breakaway.
I got the little red light was starting to I was starting to put him into the jackpots that I didn't want to ride my mare at, my good one at the time. And so it ended up getting to where I would go to a jackpot and I'd have my good horse and my young horse, and I'd choose my young horse over my good horse. And so it just kept going, and the jackpots kind of took off, and I started being like, okay, I might need to put more effort into the jackpot and breakaway and kind of back off on my heading. And my head horse was kind of getting a little older up in age, so it kind of made an easy transition. But yeah, red light, it essentially changed my life on the breakaway.
That's awesome. I have a specific question for both of you. I'd like to hear each of your answers. So you've won $65,000 so far. You're sitting second in the go round, or I'm sorry, you're sitting second in the average. What is the secret to being fast and consistent? And again, I want to hear both of y'all's answers to that.
I feel like I don't feel like there's a secret to being fast and consistent. We go fast. I like going fast. That's my game. Average still for me is if I take too many swings, the calves start moving faster in different directions, and I'll get off balance and my foot doesn't work that great the further down the arena. So first shot I see, I'm going to take it, and that makes it easier for me going fast. You know, going into this, I wanted to go win as much money as I can in the rounds. And so when we got our draw last night, I was for yesterday, it's kind of like, you know, the first night we were ecstatic. Like I had medium plus, medium plus, medium plus on all my calves. And that's my setup. Like fat calves that leave, I got a shot.
I'm going to stop you again. I'm ignorant. Medium plus means what?
So like
Faster.
yeah,
faster.
Like they're on
Okay.
the faster end. So like if you have medium minus, that means the calf is gonna like trot out, and I don't like those. I don't prefer those. I can
Gotcha.
rope them, but
You can't win Harley because the calf's so slow, they break the time, and once you rope them, they have to go far enough to pull it off the saddle horn. So it's very difficult to win on slower calves
Got it.
in this setup.
Got it.
so you want the faster calves. Like Josie Connor, the last 2 rounds, she had drawn the 2 fastest calves that we had, and so she
Made a great run.
amazing on it. You know, nailed the barrier, sent it out there, and we all thought she was faster in the 2nd round or the 3rd round, essentially last night. So that'd be what, 6th round. Is that gonna be a hindrance?
I don't think so. We can. It may be in there, but
Reduce it, but it's
It's pretty loud.
yeah. We've been able to remove it so far, but it's because they're running the cable cam out the window.
yeah. All those other windows are shut, though. Yeah.
Yeah, everything else is shut.
Okay. It is what it is. We'll be able to suppress it though, and it'll be less than what it is now.
Yeah, so I feel like going fast is my game. I didn't come in here being like I want to win the average. You know, everybody wants to leave winning the year end or essentially the fastest money, highest money earner of the 3 days, and so that's kind of the goal. It just so happened that I drew four really good calves the first 4 rounds, and I was able to make good money on every calf. And what's crazy is I think it kind of was like I went through the qualifier. So I had already run 3 calves, and then adding on the rope off calf, the last round in the qualifier, I had drawn one that went right. And I missed the one that went right because I had my loop too flat and wasn't ready for it. And so I've drawn 2 that I won good money on, but went right, and my loops have looked better. So, like, there are some things that, like, I've already had to tweak because I was still in the game of, like, saying that they're going to be faster, say they're going to be this. So I had to kind of go back and evaluate. We're staying at Dean Tufton's house right now, and so he's helping us. He's got my own arena set up. I have my own calves. So I've been going back and roping calves every day and kind of making sure I'm staying sharp on wherever the calf is. I rope them as fast as I can. Mm-hmm. Not being stupid fast because there's 15 girls now, so you have higher odds of winning versus 25 girls. I think smart runs, they still think it's going to be waspy fast, but I'm excited.
Right on. Do you think you had a little bit of an advantage, like having to qualify? I know that sounds crazy, but you were able to see the start, see the barrier, and have almost like some practice runs before you went to the main event?
I think yes and no, because I would rather be a little bit behind the 8 ball and not have to qualify, to be honest. So I'm not going to say that it's a plus. For sure. And that's why I did an interview earlier about it. I do not want to have to qualify again. Hopefully I do good enough next year in the world standings that I'm already an invite. So for those things, like, yes, was it nice to get to run a couple calves in the setup? But I was already here the day before, watching the calves before I was roping in the semifinals because the last chance qualifiers ran our calves. So I sat there and I watched some of the first round, and then me and Jay Goobert wrote down the second and the third round calves. And so I sat there and watched the start all day. So I'm going to say I would have been just fine when just sitting there and watching it and not having to stress through the qualifier. But I think it made me tougher mentally, and I think I was sharper. But I won't mind next year, hopefully.
What about you, Speed? Going back to that question, what was your secret to being consistent and fast?
Really comes down to the basic fundamentals of how you get your rope going, if you have it balanced and ready to throw, the weight in the stirrups, your balance, and position to throw your rope. That was my whole game at the National Finals Rodeo. I grew up in Florida. We rodeoed a lot in little bitty buildings. So you had to throw fast. And that was kind of what I made a living doing, was throwing fast. So we spent a lot of time with this one learning to go fast. And it's definitely different than what a lot of people do, but we team rope. We rope calves with a team rope, full-fledged head rope. My son will be out there at Wickenburg, Dynamite, using the same rope that she's roping with in here. Because in my opinion, it's faster, it's got more body, it's open, and it don't take the strength to throw it. Very different than all the calf ropers out there that teach the big, heavy, limber rope. So a lot of them are friends, been the whole deal, but teaching my daughter when she's 11 years old, she ain't got a big enough arm to swing them.
Right.
They're too heavy, they're too slow, and so a lot of it just comes down to fundamentals and being ready to throw. Now, was it an advantage, her going through the qualifiers? I absolutely believe it.
You knew?
Yes, because she got to run full contact runs in there. But I'm like her. I don't really want to go through that again. Don't want that experience. Don't want that advantage again.
Yeah.
We'll take it clean slate, just back in there knowing we're get to run 6 calves and try to make it to the Final Four.
Yes, I understand. Well, kind of a segue into the next question I have. So, in your prime, I would say you were the one that revolutionized team roping, right? Like, you were the first one to come over the chute, and
I get that credit. Yes, sir. I was the first one that was swinging in the box, coming over top of the chute. And then, slowly, I won 2 or 3 titles for anybody else done it. And then there was 3 or 4, and by the end, there was 12 or 13 of them coming over top of the chute, throwing the rope. And like now, everybody comes over top of the chute. But the difference was the majority of rodeos are long scores back in the day. big arenas, long scores, so you had to have a horse that could go catch the cows. To qualify for the national finals, you had to be good long score. So all the guys that were good short score couldn't qualify or didn't have the horse. There was guys back in my day that could go fast, but they couldn't go catch the long scores to get in the Thomas and Mack. Because there was a lot of guys from back east that could go fast. But it took a whole nother ability to go fast and then handle the cow, finish, and do the whole thing. But yes, I get a lot of the credit for creating, coming across the line, throwing the rope.
Yeah, it just seems like you were very forward thinking then, and you're very forward thinking now, going with, oh well, let's try this head rope because that makes sense, and we can reach a little bit, and the loop's going to stay open. And
I'm a math guy, so there was nobody to show me how to do it. But I love watching the football and the analytics when they break it down step by step. So in my mind, I would make a run in my mind and try to eliminate the wasted steps in a run. Before I ever rope a steer, I'll try to run him 100, 200 times in my mind and go through every scenario that could happen, so my mind already knows how to react to those things. So we use a video, we break it down in every frame, and I actually have a software that shows golf deal that your feet, your knees, your hips, square in the body, got little pressure points on everything. So when we're roping, I can lay her run right on top of my run, and I use it with my clients, teaching them different things. But staying square in this body, straddle, roping. I have a mechanical horse that's got pressure on the nose. When you pull, it shows how much pressure you're pulling. So there's a lot of math into what I do.
And so, it doesn't lie.
That video camera does not lie.
The camera's a great tool to learn, but it's terrible when, like, you know, I'm at my max of where I think I can rope, and then he'll get on, and he makes it look easy 2 more feet ahead of me, and I'm just like, can you not get on? Like, please? Like, I was over here ecstatic, you know, about, like, you know, 19, 21 feet, and then he gets on at 25, and it's, like, easy, and I'm like, cool, okay, I still got a lot of work to do. But
yeah.
It definitely, I have, you know, a lot of teachers, you know, they can teach really good, and then you have someone that can teach and show you, and it's like, okay, I can't argue. You know, like, you can't argue at all.
Yeah.
Like, are you sure?
To teach people for a living, and then to be able to teach my kids, and then anytime we're having problems, to get on the horse and be able to do it way past them is
A humbling experience for them.
very exciting for the dad. You know, most dads can't teach their kids to play sport and stuff. Both of my kids chose to do what I'm good at, and I never made them rope. I bribed them. They could win things, pick dinner places, movies, the whole deal. This one took to it, but she was a daddy's girl, always with me, doing stuff.
Right.
My son, he was a wanderer. He wandered, done everything, and when he didn't, he was 11 before he got the bug, and then when he got the bug, it was 10, excuse me.
So what is it, with your dad being your coach and your mentor, when you have a bad run or something doesn't go your way, what is it that you want or need to hear from him?
So I kind of can know what his temperature is going to be, because if I'm just like in that first round of the qualifier, like, I didn't stay to the game plan. Like, I essentially safetied up in a situation that I wasn't planning on safetying up. What he didn't tell you in that run is I about fell off. My boot fell off on the run. Like, it was terrible.
I don't care.
I know he doesn't care. Since my injury, like, if I get off balance at all, it's like my whole body, like, I just clam up. Like, I'm scared of falling off because it's going to hurt. And it's not going to just hurt, you know, for now. I break easy, it seems. And so I've been, like, you know, trying to stay on, trying to make sure that nothing bad happens. And then, you know, we have another wreck. But having a father that, you know, if you go out there and you try your hardest, and he knows when I safety up and I just kind of get in my head too much. And but he, you know, he doesn't yell. I think the only time I've ever actually had him mad was at Calgary last year, because I had a really bad habit in the team roping of, when you're swinging your rope and you tie your hands up together and you come across and it will go top not a lot of calves and you can't reach like that, or it doesn't go right reaching a lot of the times. And so I did that on every calf at Calgary, and I had already had a terrible summer. I had a lot of things going on bad. I hadn't caught. I was in a really dry spell. And all I know is I turned my phone off because I'm like, I know I'm doing wrong, right? But I just can't, like, it wasn't fixing. And so I left my phone in the rope bag, and I go upstairs and I'm sitting with Mom, and I'm like, I have so much stuff going wrong right now. And it was like my body just kept, every time it was like, don't want to miss. Instead of being like fearless like I used to be. I just kept claiming up because I was winning the world. I had all these things in reach, and I was just like, go catch, and that's not my game. I have to stay dedicated to my game is go fast, and if I catch them all, awesome, I win the average. But if not, I'm going to win a lot of money, and I'll place somewhere in the average. And so that is kind of the thing that I think,
She went back to she was 6, 7 years old.
Yeah, it was bad.
Her fundamentals, the way we team rope, when she got nervous, she went back to the way I taught her to go catch steers. We're not roping steers.
Right.
And she is doing it over and over and over again. She get on the speed trainer and rope it outstanding. When she put her money up and she has a chance to win a world title, and she kept going back to this old habit. And they drove all night. Mama done drove her all night to Calgary. They get there, and I'm like, baby, do what you're capable of doing. Don't revert back to that. That one, I didn't. I just texted her mom. I said, I'll let her call me when she's ready to talk.
I think I gave him like 5 hours to cool off. But it wasn't like I wasn't going to get yelled at. It was
why?
It was just why. And I couldn't answer him. Because
when you're injured, your body protects itself. And you cut things off.
Yeah.
This was a fundamental habit that she got into, protecting like a little girl. And I'm like, child, you're driving a lot of miles to do something. That was probably the only issue that we've had that Dad got a little riled up about, because we kept doing it over. Mom was driving her here. Mom was driving her here. They drive 20,000 miles, and she's making the same mistake every time.
But I'd go to practice pin, and I wouldn't want.
Outstanding.
Right.
But I'd go to a jackpot, and it was so weird.
Mentally, it was a mental
block that I didn't know. I'd never had a mental block before. So to have that, like when I'm on top of the world, and then have that, and I just go crashing down, and then Shelby wins Sioux Falls, and wins the world title, and you're sitting there, and I did terrible Sioux Falls, and so that
wasn't your fault though. We drove 2 calves, stumbled, didn't start. We broke the barrier both times.
But that was something that it taught me, like, it doesn't matter if you're on top of the world or the bottom of the world, you still have to go out there and be fearless every time. Because if you go out there and you're making a run, you're like, oh, don't, that gets you in more problems. Because, you...
Now I'm having to back her down a little bit, like little daredevil's back, like she's
You'd
roping
rather that
good.
though, right? You'd rather bring them down than have to
Hey,
back up.
Before the
fifth round,
he kept walking over to me. He's like, baby, and it was before even the 4th round, because he's like, baby girl, I don't care. Like, you grew a calf on this one, right? Go fast. But that next one, like, I really think, and I'm like, Dad, I'm going fast. That's my game. He's like, baby, but like, really? And I'm just like, Dad, I'm going fast. And he's like,
so in behind the scenes, when she gets in to shoot the 5th one, I'm pushing the calf, slapping on the calf, pushing the calf, and I'm looking up at her like, he ain't going to go nowhere. I never said a word to her. But I was pushing him like,
get a hot
you
shot
see
in there?"
this? He ain't going nowhere. Like, back down and just catch this.
he definitely was a bit extra, if you want to call it. It's so funny though, because like the way they have it set up, the one on deck can go back there and watch start. And I was following Josie all night, and she was making awesome runs, and she's got these fast calves. I'm like, don't watch Josie start. Like, you have to score more than that, so don't watch Josie start. And then I'm swinging my rope and getting ready, and I see Dad get in there, and he's like slapping the calf, looking at me, and I'm like, okay, I see what you're saying. I won't be as aggressive. And then the next round, the calf was a little slower and stepped right, and then we didn't even see it until we went back on the video footage. We had a friend send it to us from the live feed, and as the calf's coming out, he stumbles, and I break the barrier. And
just
barely.
fraction. But we got 4 more to go, and we'll see what she draws. But the slow calves, it's hard to win on. We just got to get by them and go to the next one. Turn her loose to go fast. This is her world. She lives or dies by her consequences. But the coach trying to get her to know when she can go fast and when she just needs to get by.
Yeah.
She don't like just to go catch one and get by. I said, there's 10 rounds. Mathematically, we can't win on those slow ones.
He's been in this situation though. He's had this chance of money. The most we've ever run for in 10 rounds is 5,000, a little over 5. So to have 25,000, I'm like, why wouldn't I send it every time with the line? And if I win 6th, I win the same as you know. So and that's what, like I told him, I was like, Dad, like, if we go fast is my game.
That's what I did at the national finals. I never worried about the average. The only year I won the average is the year Rich roped 5 legs, and I caught every one. The rest of the time, I missed one or broke a barrier, the whole deal. And I'm told her, I said, hey, there's 10 rounds. You got to make smart runs.
I think
Speaking of that, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I know you're running out of time, and I want to get to this question though. So pre-game rituals, you mentioned a lot about visualization. What are you doing back there before? And I want to know the same thing from you. What were you doing at Thomas and Mack before you get ready to go rope for big
I'll let
money?
her answer first.
Fair enough.
so. For us, we videoed all the calves, so for the rounds. So we have all the footage of what the calves did, essentially, and we have it from both angles. So we know when I go down there and I'm going to have my first 3 draws ready, I'm going to know what the calf did on the previous 2 runs and get to make an evaluation on that. I think it's something really cool because, we have the iPad back there, we have the live feed pulled up. They've got a TV back there for us now that we can watch it on. But you kind of want to know because you have to have your ropes set up. I like to mentally prepare on like, okay, round 1, I get to go fast. Round 2, like I had to go slower and try to just catch. And then I was a little aggressive on the barrier on the 3rd one. But it's fun because I'm getting to evaluate and have like real money on the line. And so just make sure my horse is feeling good. He stretches my horse for me, so in case no stumbles happen.
Nice.
I'll lope him down today, and then it's mainly just kind of making sure I'm in the zone, prepared. I know what my calves are going to do. I know what they did the rounds previous. We have a list from the qualifier, from the semifinals, and so we can kind of just go back and see what their history are and see where they might go, so you have kind of all the variables that you need.
I saw a video of you doing jump and jive.
Yes.
Back there.
So we have a football player that did schools with my dad for a while and was really close with us and still is to this day. When we talked about it one time, because I'm like, man, I'd get so nervous and it feels like I'm sleepy. Like I'd be back there yawning, and before the first round, I'm sitting back there and you try to keep yourself regulated. You try not to let the adrenaline hit you very hard because if you hit, that'll be something we do too to get the adrenaline. It makes you, the pain makes you focus. And so when you start getting in there and and you start thinking too many things, especially like high teamers, you will see me like whacking the crap out of my legs because I have to be in the moment. If I'm not in the moment, reactive right then, it's like kind of like you're watching in second person. I'm sure you've had it happen to you, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have had it. You don't get focused. And so you want to make sure that you're in the run. The jumping jacks get the blood flowing. I'll be sitting over there and everybody's laughing because they're like pumped up, like they're excited, and I'm over there yawning. But I feel like if you can conserve your energy for when you need it, and then I try to stay calm and regulated throughout everything else so that when I need to, I have all the energy I need to.
Oh, that's awesome.
When she was little and competing,
I get nervous.
back in the box, I'd slap her on the leg and just kind of get her focused like
Like a
off the whole
switch.
deal. Hey, when it's cold, I'd come walking to Dad, I'm good. I'm good.
It
I'm
burns.
ready.
Yeah.
I had to sneak to her then
Yeah.
when
So the
she
jumping
was.
jacks are just a different version of, slapping the leg. It gets you going. I was doing it all because I just wanted to make sure I was present. I knew I had a fast shot available, and so you just want to make sure that I'm in the moment and not essentially blacking out and just roping. I want to make sure that every part of it was ready.
That's awesome. Tilden Hooper had a similar answer to that when I interviewed him. He said he's back there like yawning, and all these other rough stock guys are slapping themselves. Fired up.
I just feel like if you're ready at 5:30 and you're like pumped up, then by the time 7 o'clock rolls around, we're running our first calf, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
So, I'd rather be over there just chilling, and a lot of the times I'll be over there scratching on red light, we'll be chilling, and I try to keep him calm too because if he feels my nerves, then he's going to get freaked out too.
Yeah,
Like, what are we
100%.
doing, So I feel like if you stay calm and cool and collected, it's, it'll be better no matter what.
Yeah.
Let her go. I'll answer this question without you.
Well, I can wrap it out.
I can answer that part if you need to.
I'd love to just hear it real quick if you can stick it out.
Pretty much, I've trained her to do exactly what I did.
Hmm.
Pretty much identical. Mentally focused, watch your calf go, steer go, what he does the research on him, mentally get prepared. The only difference in the national finals was we had autographs and meetings and all the stuff. I always used to try to go to the trailer and shut everything off at 30 minutes. Try to get a nap because late nights, early mornings, all day, tried to have a 30-minute shutdown. Not really I went to sleep, but just lay there and clear my mind and reset.
What about it when you're sitting in that tunnel, like right before you're about to ride in? What's going through your head?
All you're doing is preparing. You prepare for the steer. You don't deal with what's going to happen if you catch this cow. You only got to be in the moment of roping the steer. Don't ever look forward to how you're going to spend the money that you're going to win when you catch this cow. Because sometimes things happen, you got to go through your steps first.
Yeah, roger that. Well, Speed Williams, Hali Williams, thank you all very much for taking the time. Looking forward to seeing what you do tonight here at this Kimes Ranch $1 Million Breakaway, and shout out to Kimes Ranch for putting this on. I think it's amazing that y'all now have this platform and this opportunity to win real money, big money, much like the guys at the NFR. So congratulations for making it here, and congratulations on what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet.